Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview covering Visit America Stage 2. For this occasion, I'm here accompanied by NaturE, the IGL of Evil Geniuses who are looking to bounce back in Stage 2 after finishing outside of the playoff picture in Stage 1. So, NaturE, really appreciate you taking the time, first and foremost. Asking about, first off, how are you doing? How are you taking in, how did you take this past break since the end of Stage 1 and before the start of Stage 2?
So first off, thanks for having me. I think that like the break in between stage one and two, it's a little rough. Okay, you know, just to bring up like other plays that kind of explain it, like Asuna from when he did his interview, he said it feels much worse when you like lose, you don't make some things, and then you just straight practice. So in that aspect, I agree a lot with it. It does suck a lot to just sit there and like, we hard practice for like pretty much the whole break, right? Just to just stay on form and stuff. Because the thing is, we ended in a like a very respectable fashion. We beat two teams that are what people are saying the league's top goats, basically. You know what I mean? So we kind of just wanted to carry that on into practice and hopefully bring this into stage two, but also develop things like in the back end more so that we have like more protocols and stuff to fall back into if we have a slower start.
Yeah, and of course, I do talk about this team, the fact that you guys were very close to reaching playoffs at the very end in stage one. Unfortunately, that didn't happen for you guys. But still, what were some of the kind of biggest takeaways that you saw from the team, from your point of view, from end of stage one, that you did put to use, so like during practice and just preparation for stage two?
Well, I think towards the end of stage one was just like our energy, like going into the game, starting off like really strong, high energy, no matter if we lost the pistol or not. Like a lot of our games, the start of the split that were making us like lose really bad is we just started really bad and we kind of almost stayed in the rut the whole series. So that was like the biggest thing, knowing into stage two. Uh, During the whole break, like we would want to keep energy up during practice and stuff like that, and that was like kind of like a goal within it. But at the same time of doing that, we know we were playing very well when we were in those and in that way. So we were just trying to develop when we were playing really really strong to keep that going and keep being consistent in that area. It's it's not so much like we failed like developing and stuff like that. It was more we just needed to get into that groove, and that's why we started to win towards the end, and that's why we need to stay we practice trying to stay in this groove, but also trying to imply more things to get us into higher and higher level when we're in that groove.
If you're able to elaborate on more on that aspect, the very end, what exactly are the things that you guys kind of been doing in order to reach that desired like level slash groove that you've been talking about?
Uh, well, to get into the groove, number one is just like just showing up to practice, like kind of ready to go and stuff like that. Like respecting everyone and trying to get into the groove to begin with. But then once we're in that, it would be more like just like it would be like later around things and stuff like that. Trying to not be always like the hero and stuff, and playing to like our protocols or just the fundamentals that we've come up with as a team. Not always trying to be that guy that has to win the round. Oh, I can't hear you anymore.
There you go. Sorry about that. I accidentally had my mic on mute. Getting back to my question, more so now focusing towards yourself. Has there been anything that you kind of been focusing on yourself as the IGO in order to facilitate your yeah, facilitate your teammates to perform in the best way that they can?
As a leader, I mean, just trying to be like more hype for the guys, especially during practice. I usually start us off pretty high. I'll get a little loud. Sometimes, like, I think when we were like playing a little poor at the start of the games and everything, I was more quiet because I'm trying to focus on trying to get us like the round win, right? Trying to really make the call correct and everything. But the more important thing, it seems like, especially in like the last two games when we were down really bad, was just trying to stay hype and stuff like that. So that's like an important thing that I'm trying to focus on. Just make sure it's always hype, and at the same time, just having the plan more like fluid in my head so that I know what I want to call the next round, whether this works or not, and stuff like that. That's kind of what I'm focusing on, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And now I want to just ask about just the changes to the game, as in changes to the duelist, neon buffs, and all that jazz. How that then kind of affected the team's preparation, and also for yourself, with having to deal with these changes, having to adjust. adapt with, I believe, not much time at your hands, before the start of stage two. How you kind of been working on that, and how has that kind of been difficult for you in your point of view?
From my point of view, I'll be pretty brutally honest. I think it's really hard to make these types of changes because I think the game is in a very like awkward state right now. A lot of it's really important for like teams like us and the teams that kind of have our record to start off strong. And it's really weird because I mean, people are gonna try to cheese with these like agents now. Like these agent changes are really massive in the game. Neon and ISO are definitely two big game changing agents now that can be played for at least the first few weeks until people like because we won't be used to like fully. Nobody will. We we're trying to work as hard as we can to get used to these agents because we know they're gonna be played just like as everybody is right now in the Americas. I think the awkward thing is it all matters on who you're actually able to scrim as well. I think that uh, different teams, and this is talked about in like many different ways in different games and stuff like that. Your scrim partners that you have are going to be different from like everybody's scrim partners that they have. Not everyone is like I'm not. We're not scrimming half the teams in the league, right? Because we play them. Uh, so it just depends on how those people develop in the meta is how good we will be as well. So it's not only on us to learn as best we can, but we have to hope that our scrim partners are playing to the level of the neon and ISO changes and stuff like that, so we can get the best practice out of it for stage. So that's the really like for me, it's the really frustrating part because some pracks are kind of like, oh, you can tell this team really hasn't developed like, their strategy for this agent yet, and it's, like, really frustrating because then the practice is like, "Oh, I wish we had someone that's really, really good at it," right? Because, I mean, we have, I'm not saying, like, we play Neon, we play ISO, but we have Jaw, which has always been flexible, right? So, we're trying to, like, try everything, which is helping a lot of teams that we practice against. So, that's, like, the biggest thing to me. That's the very frustrating part of the patch is it came so fast, we don't have too much time, but we have to rely on other people to give us the correct practice.
It just feels like Riot just said, okay, here you go, here are the changes. There you go, just throwing it onto you just like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. One other thing that I do want to touch upon, that it's kind of in relation to what you've been talking about so far. It's just the fact that with this format, the team is not just starting off 0-0. You guys starting off 2-3, and as you mentioned a little bit, you guys got to start off very well, very on the right foot, very fast. If not, you're going to be put into a much bigger hole. I mean, how much difficult does that then also add into just having to play so well at the start of this split?
I think after what I talked about in saying that people are gonna try to cheese, Loud's definitely a team that likes that. They just got off playing Phoenix for the whole split, right? I think that there will be some curveballs in the agent selection and everything, and it is important for us to win this, to win every game right now because it starts off with a 2-3 record. So that's kind of like I wouldn't say I was stressed going into this, but once the changes dropped and we were told we're playing on week one, it's like, that kind of sucks because now we're having to also deal with a curveball just as they are going to, and they're in the same position we are really. In all reality, we're the same record 2-3, right? I
Mhm.
think we're same record, yeah. So they're in the same exact position as us. So like, it's gonna be like it'll be a fun match because it's gonna be like the game is now psycho, like it's crazy with the new changes and everything. So it will be fun, but it is a little stressful knowing that like we both as teams need to win this really, really bad. It's really like that's where like the stress is involved now because it's a little random with the new changes.
Gotta ask about your opinion on the map side of things. Haven returning, Breeze getting out, and then Abyss also getting into it. I'm not sure it's gonna be entering right there at the start of the year, but maybe the start of the season, but more so later on down the line. Just what's your opinion on just those maps that are affected and how that kind of will then play in to just basically what you've been talking about so far?
The map changes are a bit different since well, it just depends on when you started as a team. So we didn't know Haven was like gonna be fully out when we were all trialing and playing at the very, very start. So that we've actually played the map a little bit. We have to get back into it. Teams are like slower to get back into those grooves of the maps and stuff like that. So I don't find it as big of a deal. Also, some people are just gonna ban the map because it's like the first few weeks that it comes out. It is what it is. So it gives you kind of time to work on it. not as big of a deal. It sucks to have your disadvantage being you have to ban the map because you're a bit slower to like catch up than other teams. So in terms of like maps, I'm not like super pressed about it. I don't think it's fantastic, to be honest. To be clear, the break for the teams that are like that actually went to the event and everything and then have to implement this map, in their situation, I'd be stressed. So I can understand there where I'd be like, this kind of sucks. Uh, so that would be my opinion on it. Abyss, I think it's gonna be really hard to add a new map in. That would be like my thing. Is the new map is really really rough. It probably won't be the highest level of gameplay from pretty much any team, especially considering the map. Looking at it a little bit, it wa- I don't know. I'll leak. Yeah, I don't think it's in first week. I'm pretty sure that that is either already out or it will be told soon. So it's not in first week. So it'll be a little. The map itself just looks a little awkward because it's very open, long lanes everywhere. So I just think the map's going to be really fighty. You're going to see really bad fights from both teams for the first few weeks on it. So kind of sucks that it's coming in the middle of the split.
Yep, and it'll be one thing that the team will just have to deal with later on down the line once it does drop into the map pool. One more question before I wrap it up, Nature. More so now looking at how the team is going to be approaching this split. Um, how is that going to be? Are you guys going to be able to approach that? And also, in addition to that, what do you feel is going to be the one thing that will have to that will you feel decide how the team will perform in stage two?
I think it will be how we go into the first match. We ended really, really strong in split two, or in split one. I'm sorry. So if we can carry that over, win this first match, it'll be a really big morale boost. And I think that we're very confident players when we know we're playing well. Beating loud will make us put us at that level where we know we're playing good and we want to keep winning, keep playing better, and that'll put us in the position of success for all of split two. So that's my goal. I think that's everyone's goal on the team is to win against loud. It's gonna be it'll be weird. Like I said, it'll be curveballs all around because I mean, right now they don't have technically a main duelist. We don't know who's really playing what roles. I mean, heck, Kodak in my rank games has locked in Neon, I think, for the last 100 games. So we might see that. We don't know really yet. So I think it will really, positive or negative. I can see it. What happens in loud will kind of show if we're able to have success uh, in the split. It's not the worst in the world if we lose, but it definitely hurts knowing kind of how the like playoffs contention works now.
Yeah, definitely a lot of curveballs that will be thrown towards EG's way, but for this interview, he's been throwing straight fastballs to me, giving me clear and direct answers for that. For that, I thank you, and thank you so much, Tainture, once again for taking the time doing this interview. Really appreciate it, and yeah, nothing else to say but to say best of luck goes to the team and also for yourself.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate you having me.